Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your September 2025 tarot readings for your North Node by sign and house for the second half of September. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant is that it's recognized in astrology your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime, and it's related to your life purpose. So it's more relevant to your everyday life and more accurate in tarot readings. Now remember, you're going to want to watch two readings, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. And remember, before we begin, we're in the middle of eclipse season, so this is a very, very transformative time. But what we're here to do in this lifetime is we're here to walk our personal path, no matter what is going on in the world around us. With that, I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin the readings. I call upon my spirit guides, guardians, and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see and hear these readings, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Aries and or the first house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you for the second half of September is the reversed Tower card. And what I'm feeling like is that I'm feeling like most of you you're dealing with the aftermath of something that happened recently, particularly around this last lunar eclipse, but it could have been within the last month to several weeks, that there was something happened that was like a kind of minor blow up of some sort, something that you had to deal with that was like a shock to the system. It could have been within a relationship or relationships. For some of you, it could have been at work, but it was something that you're essentially you're meant to learn from, okay? And you're dealing with the aftermath, the after effects of this. And I feel like that there's something here for you to look back on and kind of glean some kind of wisdom from this, okay? Let's look at your timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity on this. So your timeline, you've got the Five of Wands upright, you've got the Four of Wands upright, and you've got the Hermit card upright. So the Hermit card will start here. This is what I'm saying, that, this is about a higher perspective. This is higher wisdom. This is going through experiences. If you think of the beginning of the journey of like the Fool card, and then you look at the end of the journey like the Hermit, it's like what we learned throughout our lifetime, right? So it's gaining wisdom through experience. And I feel like that this experience that you went through that was somewhat, it probably was uncomfortable. It could have been something that, was not fun to go through. But you're supposed to learn something from it. Now, I feel like for most of you, it's going to have to do with some sort of like relationship issue. Okay, so you've got the Five of Wands over here. Okay, now the Five of Wands, all the five cards are kind of challenging cards. Okay, and there's something to where this card is talking about, it could be anything from some sort of conflicts. It could be with a person or multiple people. This also could refer to competition. So like if two people are trying to get into a position at work, there's some sort of competitive thing. Okay, so for each of you, as I said, it's going to be different, but it's some sort of conflict or issue that you're dealing with the aftermath of. Okay, and for some of you with this Four of Wands, it could have to do around a gathering of some sort, a celebration. So that could be like a party, a wedding, something to that effect. But the Four of Wands, like all of the tarot cards and readings, have multi-layered meaning. So yes, on the one hand, this could be where it happened or where it occurred. It had had to do with something that was a gathering or some sort of a social event or whatever. But more importantly, the Four of Wands here is talking about stabilizing after the effect. Now, normally, the cards numerologically will go from the smallest to the largest, right? So we have the 5 here, the 5 of wands, but we're backtracking. We're going to the 4 of wands. And so this is something where we're looking back on it. We're trying to understand what took place and stabilize that and kind of learn from that. And as I said, what are you supposed to learn from it? Well, for each of you, it's different. Like, how did you handle that situation? Do you feel in your heart of hearts that you handled it correctly? Could you have been, more assertive? Because that's one of the things that you're, doing in this lifetime, is you are stepping into the kind of warrior mode of Aries and Mars and the first house. Okay. So how did you handle that? Now, your 2 advice cards will kind of give us a little bit more of a clue. So you've got the 10 of Cups reversed, which is emotional fulfillment. And you've got the 4 of Cups reversed. And this is about not understanding something, emotionally, which causes disillusionment or some sort of emotional distress, because you're not seeing the full picture, in it. And so what this is saying is, don't be disillusioned emotionally by what took place. Like, look at it like an experience where we can take, kind of a higher view. Let me explain this so you can understand it. If we go through something with a friendship, okay, that we have a friendship that we've had for a number of years or whatever, and all of a sudden we go through something where we see this person in this friendship, it could even be in a relationship, whatever, in a different way, we, on the one hand, we can't believe, how could this person say this, do this, be disloyal, or whatever. Okay. So we're concentrating on what took place emotionally and how we feel about it. But if you look at it more deeply, what you can learn is, you can learn that you learned something that you weren't aware of in this person and in this relationship. This happens a lot throughout our lifetimes, where, we think that we know a person or whatever, and then all of a sudden something will happen and we get shocked by it. But the other, way to look at it is, we learn, now we know the truth about the situation, and so there's something missing, that you have to kind of look at this in a different way, because there's a missing puzzle piece emotionally regarding this situation. And then with this, 10 of Cups here, this is saying, like, don't let it derail you from being your true self, because the way that you could take this with your, north node, and you have your south node in Libra or the 7th house, is it could be this shock to the system. And it's like, this is completely messing up the harmony that I felt within the situation: work, personal relationship, romantic relationship, friendship, family relationship, whatever it is. This is disrupting the harmony of that. But one of the things that you're learning is, we cannot choose harmony over reality. Like, we can't just keep the peace, keep the harmony, and we're not understanding, like, it's like slapping a bunch of coats of paint over a bad wall, trying to cover it up. Well, we're just going to keep covering it up, right? When you just need to get to the root of the matter and say, wait, there's a situation with this wall here. I got to strip away the paint and I got to deal with it, and then I can repaint, type of a thing. And that's kind of the energy here, which is saying, it's like, don't worry that this caused a disruption. Okay, this is the advice. You needed to happen, because ultimately what this is this is getting you to step more into the wisdom of what it is you're here to do and the things you're here to learn. And part of your path, if you have a north node in Aries or the first house, is you're here to deal with disharmony, and in a good way. And the weird thing about it is, the more that you deal with the disharmony, the more harmony and peace you're going to create in your life. It's weird how that happens, but that's part of our path. It's always the north node is always counterintuitive to how we think things should be. So Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. And I just want to say that thank you so much for all of the tips and gifts that you guys give as a show of appreciation. It's always much appreciated, and so much love to you. With that, I'll say we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Four of Cups upright. And, this is a card of being maybe disillusioned emotionally, or being kind of distraught about something emotionally, but it's also a card of not seeing the full picture on something, because you can see here that this person is, sitting under the tree with their arms folded. They're concentrating on these three cups, the emotional situations in their life, but they're not seeing that this cup is right behind them, coming from a hand on the clouds. And when you see in the tarot deck the hands that are on clouds, this has to do with, you could call it universal energies, the energies of our spirit guides and guardians. Okay, this is the universe trying to help us in some way. But essentially there's something right now where a lot of you, there are areas of your life where you may feel like emotionally kind of disillusioned or not understanding something. There could be like a lull where it's like this kind of, you might be feeling in some area of your life kind of like a dullness emotionally, and there's something that is just kind of, I'm feeling like kind of like a stagnant energy, okay? And this is about you. You're in the process of breaking out of this. So there could be multiple areas of your life. You could be overall feeling this, or there could be areas where it might be in a relationship, or in, family relationship, or it could be with, you're dealing with your health or finances, or it could be work, okay? So there could be multiple areas, but overall there's just this feeling of like, there's something that's not working right, and it's affecting you emotionally. Now, as I said, you're in the process of breaking out of this, and we're going to kind of discuss, how we're going to do that. Let's get some more clarity. We'll look at your timeline card. So you've got the Nine of Pentacles reversed. You've got the Lovers card reversed, and you've got the Eight of Wands reversed, okay? Now, starting with the Eight of Wands, okay, this is a card of, fast moving energy, okay, when it's upright. When it's reversed, this is either like, it's two things. It's a slowing down or stopping of energy, but it's also a change of direction. Like when we're going one way, you can see these wands are flying through the sky. They're going in a certain direction. And when it's reversed, it could be like a change of direction. So I feel like what it is you're feeling like is there is some sort of stoppage or stagnation in some area or areas of your life. It could just be, as I said, overall. And you're trying to make sense of it, like you're trying to get out of it, and you will. But this is going to involve taking a different direction, okay? And it's a change of direction, and that's where the answer is going to come from. Now, the multiple areas of life is obviously, you've got the Lovers card here reversed, and you've got the Nine of Pentacles reversed. For a lot of you, this has to do with, personal relationships. The Lovers card, although yes, primarily it could refer to romantic relationships, it does refer to relationships of all sorts. And so there's something to where you're feeling like there needs to be some sort of a change that happens, and maybe that this relationship isn't headed in the right direction. Okay, so some of you are dealing with something like that, and there needs to be some changes made. With this Nine of Pentacles, this is about like, creating the life that we want to live. How is it, like we all have kind of like, at least most of us should have a rough idea of the life we want to live. Like, what we want to do, whether that be, traveling, saving money, enjoying life, having hobbies. It's living a rich life, okay, essentially. And so there could be some disillusionment regarding the best life that you're trying to achieve, and you maybe see like, well, wait a minute, I need to make some changes somewhere, okay, but overall you're not really kind of sure how, okay. So these are some things that you might be kind of dealing with, but as I said, this is moving away because overall the energy is on the move, okay. So I feel like you're going to break out of this, and you're going to find a way, but it feels strange right now, okay. I think that for you, because of your south node, that you have in Scorpio, or the eighth house, with your north node in Taurus in the second, the eclipses that we're having right now are kind of affecting a lot of you, okay. But your advice cards will kind of give some more clarity of how this is all going to play out too. So you have the Temperance card upright, and you've got the Judgment card reversed. So, as I said, this is a change of direction, and this Temperance card with the Archangel blending the cups together. This is a card of alchemy, okay. And what we do when we are creating our life is we are taking the raw materials of what we have in our life, our experiences, our talents, our challenges, all of that. And what we do when we create a life for ourselves is we're literally like alchemists, where we're mixing things together as best we can. And the end result, we hope, is the life that we want, the life that we want to create. And so you're in the middle of doing this. And this is relating to the Four of Cups here, okay? So what this is saying is that this is saying emotionally work on, like, this is a work in progress, and you need to kind of keep going and work on it, and don't get stagnant. Don't just sit down under a tree and contemplate all emotionally the things that aren't right. You have to kind of take action, and it's about, okay, well, what can I do to kind of change my situation? And whenever you see an archangel in a tarot card, this has to do with the universe is trying to help you. This is something that's very karmic in nature, okay? Now, again, you have another archangel here on this card with the Judgment card, the Judgment card reversed. And you can see that the Archangel Gabriel blowing the horn. This is a card of the universe, and your guides are trying to get you to see something and understand something. A lot of people don't understand this card because it shows this angel blowing a horn, and these people, both young and old, are rising from the grave. It's like, what is this? What does this zombie card mean? But what this is this is about coming out. Whenever we learn something about our life, about the universe, about ourselves, what we're doing is we're coming out of a state of unknowing, or you can call it like a dead state. And what we're doing is we're learning. But this card is the universe, and your guides have been trying to get your attention, okay? And this card is reversed because it's like it's time to listen. What does your true inner heart say? What messages, and pay attention to what's going on around you. What messages are trying to be shown to you in order to change direction, in your life, okay? Because the answer is there. You have these two cards here with the archangels. They're trying to get your attention. The universe and your higher self is trying to get your attention on something. So for each of you, it's different. Just pay attention. What is being kind of said to you? A lot of you have these gifts of, psychic abilities because of your Scorpio or eighth house south node. So listen to what's being kind of presented to you, and then you'll know the action you need to take. But there is some sort of emotional action that you're going to have to take to change things. You're here to blend whatever's going on in your life, and you're here to create something new. Don't get caught up if it's not going perfectly. And so you're in the process of doing this, and I really feel like, if you give it, if you work on this emotionally, you're going to start to see progress within the next several weeks to a month, okay, where you're going to start to see kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. And just want to say thank you to all those who show some love by sending me gifts of a tip. Really, really appreciate it. So just want to say thank you for that. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. A North Node in Gemini and or the third house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the reversed Ten of Swords. And what I feel like you're going through right now, you North Nodes in Gemini or the third house, is you are dealing with something that it could have been like an ending of some sort, or some aspect of your life that you're dealing with, that it's the memory of that, like something that happened, and you're in the process of kind of healing from it and moving away from it. And you're here to really understand what this situation was and what you can kind of learn from it. That's kind of the whole reason that you went through. So whatever this is for each of you, it could have been something that, you know, you just had to deal with. It could have been with, you know, in a relationship, friendship, something at work, you know, something from your past, even from your childhood, that you're beginning to see in a new way. Remember, one of the things that when you look at Gemini, the third house, as opposed to the opposite polarity in the zodiac, Sagittarius or the ninth house, the image of Sagittarius is the archer with the arrow. Okay, there's the arrow that when you shoot an arrow, it's going in a certain direction. There's the energy of the bow and it's going, okay? As opposed to Gemini, which is, there are lots of ways. You might think of, you know, Gemini where there's many bows and many arrows, and there's many directions to go through this, and to understand what has happened in our life. There are many paths that can take, and that's kind of what this is saying. Is they're saying that, you know, there's not just one way to look at something. So what you're meant to do is, I feel like this has a kind of a past vibe to it, where a lot of you are like thinking about, feeling about, rehashing something that has happened in your past, and I feel like it's come up for whatever reason, and it's on your mind. You're thinking about it. You may have had a dream about it, but you're here to kind of learn from it. And when you learn from it, this is going to kind of level you up to kind of a higher version of yourself. Let's look at the timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Fool card reversed. You've got the Queen of Swords reversed. And you've got the Devil card reversed. Now, as I always say, all of the so-called scary cards, you know, death, the devil, the tower, okay, they're nothing to fear. These are just talking about archetypes and these energies of these archetypes, okay? So we're not talking about the literal devil or a demon, or death isn't talking about literal death, okay? These are just cards that have deeper esoteric meanings that are archetype energies. Now, the Devil card reversed is saying that really what this is that you, in this situation, you have been facing some like deep-seated anxiety and fears regarding this. So as I said, this thing that happened to you, you are learning to kind of, it's coming up for you to face it. And I feel like a lot of you, the reason that it's reversed is this has gotten you to be a stronger version of yourself, because you've faced some sort of situation that was a fear before and you've conquered it. And I feel like that's ultimately, you know, some of you may be in the process of conquering it, but this is ultimately what you're doing, is you're conquering some sort of like deep-seated like fear within you. And when you come out the other end of it, you're going to really feel stronger, and you're going to feel like, you know, when we go through things, sometimes we're just like, we're not going to be that same old version of ourselves. So it's something that is transforming. Now, the reason that it happened is because, you know, you have the Fool card reversed. The Fool is not a negative card. It's a card of, yes, new beginnings, but it's a card of innocence and childlike exuberance. Sometimes it's also a card of inexperience, right? So what happened with this situation was you went into it with not understanding what it was all about. Okay, so you went in with kind of just like a, over optimism. You went into it with like a more like kind of an innocence type of a thing. And what happened was is that real quick you learned, oh wow, okay, this isn't what I thought it was. Okay, so this was part of this learning process. And then with this Queen of Swords here reversed, this is you, a version of yourself that you're learning to step into. Okay, now the Queen is reversed here, but what this card is this would be, the highest version of yourself, because all of the swords rule all of the air signs, Gemini and the third house being among them. And this is about having the courage mentally to understand what it is, is happening in your life, about your situations, about what direction to take. And so what the reason for all of this and the facing of this situation was getting you, it was refining you and getting you to be, as I said, that better version of yourself, which is the ability to see things with many, many perspectives. I use this analogy sometime where, people forget the power of perspective and how, powerful it is. As I said in the beginning, if we're looking at, Sagittarius and Gemini, and we're looking at, Sagittarius would be the one way through a situation, the one answer, which has its place at when it's in our south node. It can be the thing where we're not seeing things because we're taking a certain like direction. But the power of perspective is, when you look at this card, you say, okay, what is the shape of this card? And you say, okay, it's this rectangle, right? But if I show it to you this way, what is the shape of the card? And you're only seeing this, and you're like, it's like a straight line. So perspective is everything in life. Perspective is something to where we need to, it gives us the full picture. It gives us all of the answers that we need, because we're looking at it in different ways. And that's your Gemini North Node or third house North Node. Now your two advice cards are here. You've got the Page of Wands reversed, and you've got the Seven of Pentacles. Now the Page of Wands, this is saying that what effect this can have on you is, for a lot of you, it could be, when you're dealing with this kind of old situation or thinking about what had happened to you. Okay, and this could be like a recent past situation too for some of you. But as you're going through it, your energy could feel like a little bit of that internal exuberance could feel diminished. Okay, just realize it's a process. Like we don't live as people with on-off switches. Like if we're feeling down energetically, mentally, emotionally in some way, and we begin to heal, it's not an on-off switch. Okay, and so what this Seven of Pentacles is saying, that this is a process. Okay, so you are in the process of healing energetically from this, but allow the process, be patient, wait for it to develop, wait for it to grow, because as I said, none of us have on-off switches. So you're in the process of healing this. But essentially this was very good for you, because it got you to face something within yourself, within your life, that you needed to face. And then when you come out the other end, you're going to be this higher, better version of yourself, and you're going to be stronger, and you're going to have the ability to step into that power of the Queen of Swords, of seeing things and understanding more about yourself and your life. So it is overall positive, but be patient with yourself, nurture your energy, realize that's a process, and you're going to see, as we move through the end of this eclipse season, you're going to start to feel better in the coming weeks. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. Also wanted to say thank you to all of you who show some love by sending tips and gifts. It's much appreciated. Thank you so much, and much love to you. Okay? With that, we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the fourth house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the Nine of Swords reversed. And I feel like all of you, as we're going through this, September eclipse season and beyond, obviously if you have a North Node um, in Cancer or, the fourth house, Cancer in the fourth house being ruled by the moon, the eclipse season is definitely going to affect you a little bit more than kind of all the other North Nodes, I would say. And what's happening here is I feel like a lot of you are beginning to like lose some of the fear and anxiety that you've been holding on to. Like you've been holding on to, there's certain areas of your life where you're not sure why, you're just feeling like anxious and you try to block it out. Like it could be, having just kind of dreams or anxiety that on a constant basis, and you're just trying to block it out. I feel like it's like dropping from you. And what's happening here is you're internally tapping in more into what it is you're here to do, which is really dive into um the depths of emotion in this lifetime, okay? Where, it could have felt uncomfortable. Like obviously it's going to still in certain aspects of your life feel uncomfortable, but you're feeling more comfortable in your skin. That's kind of like the feeling I'm getting. And I feel like this even if it's a small scale for each of you, a little bit anxiety dropping away from you and kind of just feeling like it's like when you just feel a little bit more free. I kind of get that energy that's happening the second half of September. And you're in this process of really kind of changing, changing for the better. There's certain aspects of yourself, like the old self, I feel like that are dropping off, and that it's freeing you. Like I'm feeling the energy of just like, if you're carrying a heavy load and you just take some of it off, like if you have a backpack on or something, and then all of a sudden you feel more free. That's kind of the energy that I'm feeling. But let's look at the timeline cards and we'll get some more clarity here. So you've got the Knight of Pentacles reversed. You've got the Queen of Wands reversed, and you've got the Magician card upright. So starting here with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Knights are cards of movement, and one of the things about the Knight of Pentacles is it's the slowest of all the Knights, ruled by the Earth signs. And remember, your South Node, this in Capricorn or the 10th house, is an Earth sign, okay? And so it's reversed because this is that stagnating energy that I feel like you're moving away from. It's like being stuck and you're getting unstuck. And so you're not having that anxiety. Like it's a freedom of movement of what you're moving toward gradually, and slowly. Now, one of the things that this could have affected is, this Queen of Wands is saying, your energy, okay? And so this has taken its toll for a lot of you where, it's been when we are feeling anxious or having anxiety about certain aspects of our life, or we're feeling stuck, it can take its toll on our energy. Wands are about our physical energy, emotional energy, all sorts of energy, psychic energy. And I feel like this is part of the process where you are getting kind of this energy back. You're slowly but surely recharging yourself, okay, as you're like throwing these burdens off you of fear and anxiety. And where you're moving is with this Magician card is the Magician is the master of all elements, but you're simply balancing out some things within you, and this is you're becoming this version of yourself where you're more skilled in certain areas of your life. You're more skilled in dealing with different situations as opposed to maybe blocking them out. Like you're facing them, and the feeling I'm getting is kind of like I think we've all experienced where we maybe put off doing something because we weren't quite sure how to do it or approach it, and we felt maybe intimidated about doing it. Now, we've all experienced that, right? And then when we, for some reason, we say, okay, look, I need to do this. I need to face this. I need to do it. And then we do it and we accomplish it. That's the feeling that I'm feeling in this reading, right? Once you have been putting something off, but then you actually do it and it actually works out okay, and you're like, wow, that wasn't so bad at all. So that's the feeling, the essence of that. And then afterwards, the feeling you get is like the Magician card, where it's like, okay, wow, I've just upped my skill set in some way in life, and that's what this is all about. Okay, so you're in the process of doing this. This is the end result of dealing with the things that you've been dealing with that had to do with being anxious. Now, really, what they are is you'll see these in your advice cards. You've got the reversed High Priestess, and you've got the reversed King of Pentacles. Now, at first glance, you're like, okay, what do these two cards have to do with each other? Well, with your North and South node, it has everything to do with this reading, right? So the King of Pentacles is referring to your South node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. And the High Priestess is talking about your North node in Cancer or the 4th house, okay? So what this is doing is that you're stepping into your power. And the reason that they're reversed is because this is a work in progress. You're stepping into what it means to be the highest version of a Cancer North node and North node in the 4th house, which is being comfortable with the deep complexity of emotions in life. This is my North node, by the way, so I know from whence I speak. But this is something to where, even though we don't realize it, as we go through our life with this South node of Capricorn or the 10th house, we don't want to have to deal with the very stickiness of weird emotional situations. We don't really like that. We want to keep things more straightforward and simple, okay? And one of the things about this lifetime is that the more we understand, we are able to be vulnerable within ourselves. This is about being vulnerable. Not always keeping up a wall of protection. This is about being able to deal with our own emotions and the emotions of others, because look, life is very complex emotionally. Okay, that is a fact. And this is a lifetime for us to just dive headfirst into it, okay? So what this is all about in this reading is that you're in the process, okay, of doing this. And I feel like a lot of the anxieties, you're doing well. A lot of the anxieties of staying stuck in your South node are going away. Just realize that it's a process, and to keep moving forward. Remember to do everything you need to do to be the highest version of the sign of Cancer, or the highest version of the 4th house, home, family, stability, not necessarily worrying about, money, finances, or status, or, work, but you're looking at this balance between home and emotions and work and success. Okay, that's this big balance that you're dealing with. So you're in the process of doing it, and that's one of the things that if you realize that you're in this process, you won't get so anxious as you move from plateau to plateau and step up higher and higher, because it's going to be this lifelong process of doing this. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. And just want to say thank you for all of you who support my channel by throwing out some gifts and tips for my work. Much appreciated. Thank you, and much love for that. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. North node in Leo and or the 5th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Ace of Swords reversed. And all of the swords have to deal with mental abilities, communication, all of the air signs. And this is referring somewhat to your south node in Aquarius in the 11th house. But this is interesting because this second half of September, what's going on is that you're being asked to rethink something like maybe a position, a mental position that you took on something, or like you could say like a mental stand, like you made a decision about something, but also you may have made the decision to detach mentally and emotionally from a situation. So you're being asked to kind of deal with it now because there may be this situation that you detached from that you just didn't want to deal with for some reason, or as I said, mentally and emotionally you decided to not like take action. You're being asked to maybe change your viewpoint regarding that. Now let's look at your timeline. We'll get some more kind of details of what this all means. So on the timeline, you've got the 5 of Wands upright. You've got the 7 of Swords reversed, and you've got the King of Wands upright. So I feel like that this 5 of Wands, this is the situation, okay? So there's something, it could be this sticky situation. It could be in a relationship for a lot of you, or like at work. And it's something that you really detached from, you didn't want to deal with, where, there was something going on and it could involve another person or multiple people. And you're just like, I don't want to deal with this. And it's really difficult. And so there's this desire that has to do with your south node in Aquarius or the 11th house to detach from it and just say, I'm not dealing with this type of a thing. And so you're being asked to now like really kind of get in here and deal with it. Remember, your north node in Leo, ruled by the sun, is you're meant to shine. You're meant to shed light on situations, not meant to like walk away from them. The 7 of Swords reversed is saying that, there's an aspect to this to where something about this situation is returning something to you. When you approach the situation and deal with it, something that you feel was lost, like maybe, you're like, you just wrote it off, like the situation wasn't important or you didn't want to deal with it. When you engage with it, you're here to deal with it in some way. Something is going to return to you, like it could be some position or status or a realization, but it's like a feeling of being able to recover something that was lost. Now it could even, it could be like some sort of a physical thing, but I think for a lot of you it's something that's like mental or emotional. There's some part of you that is kind of returning. It's this something to where there was like this missing piece within this situation, and it's now kind of returning to you as you deal with it. Now where it's heading here is, this is you. This is the King of Wands, okay? Ruled by Leo and all of the fire signs. One of the things that you're here to deal with, as I said, the planetary ruler of your north node is the sun, okay? The sun is meant to shine. It's meant to illuminate. It's meant to be seen. But what this is saying is that as you deal with situations and don't detach, and you go into situations open-hearted, you go in with a desire to be honest and try to illuminate the situations in your life and not walk away from them. As you do that, you're stepping into this higher version, which I call the enlightened leader or the enlightened ruler. Because, there are two sides of being a ruler. There is a person who is, and we've probably all like had supervisors or bosses like that, right? Where they're the weak ruler, where they just rule by dominance and I'm the boss and you listen to me. Okay. There's that type of an energy that you're not, that's not what you're here to do. You're here to be the type of a person and leader where you're letting your, inner light shine. You are stepping into your power, and you have a lot to give in this lifetime. I always tell all of my north nodes in Leo and or the 5th house is that you have gifts inside you. Of all the north nodes, especially you have something to share with the world. And it doesn't matter, even on a small scale, whether you're a stay-at-home parent, just doing some sort of a normal job, it doesn't matter. You are here in all aspects of your life to bring, you bring something to the table. It's in this lifetime, you're here to find what is it you're here to bring. And I feel like that's what's coming from the situation. As you engage with whatever this situation is that you felt like you needed to detach from, as you engage with this, this is you stepping into, you know, the highest version of yourself. Okay, that's what this has to do with. And it might seem like there's this disconnect. Well, what does this have to do with this? Okay, but it is true that this is, they have everything to do with each other, because as you engage with this situation, you are going to bring this version of yourself out. Okay, and this is this highest best version that you're here to give to the world. It may just be you're here to play peacemaker in a situation, or you're here to give encouragement in a situation, or whatever it is, or make sense of a situation, be like a referee or whatever. And you might feel like you don't want to do that, but as you step into these situations that could be difficult and you give your gifts over, this is where you really improve your life, and like I see you leveling up. Now your two advice cards are, you've got the Two of Cups upright, and you've got the Eight of Cups reversed. Now this is the reason why I said detachment, okay? Because you see the Eight of Cups here. You see that this person is walking away from all of these cups, which refer to emotions, right? But this is reversed. And so one of the phrases for this card is, you know, not walking away emotionally from something, or, you know, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, this is about don't just walk away from something or dump it out without fully understanding like what it is. So you're being asked, again, that's the reason I said about detachment. You're not here to detach, you're here to stick with this situation and deal with it. And then this Two of Cups is saying that I feel like for a lot of you, the gifts that you have inside you have to do with your ability, whether you know it or not, your ability to inspire. This may seem really strange to a lot of you that have this North Node, because a lot of people that have Leo North Node or in the fifth house, they don't understand that the sun that is within them, the sun that is within themselves, and that they have this ability to, just by being who they are, this ability to inspire and encourage others. That's what this Two of Cups is saying. It's like you have this innate ability, if you tap into it, to be of help and inspiration mentally and emotionally and, you know, physically with the world around you. Okay, and so this is part of this. Okay, so I really want all of you to really discover your gifts and start sharing them within the world, because the world needs what you have within you. Okay, you have these seeds of greatness. Okay, everybody that has this North Node has seeds of greatness within them. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. And just want to take the time to say thank you to all those who take the time to give gifts and tips. Much appreciated. It makes my work feel so seen and heard. So thank you so much. With that, we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. North Node in Virgo and or the sixth house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Three of Pentacles upright. Now remember, the second half of September here, we've got a solar eclipse in your North Node, okay, in Virgo. So this next 2 weeks of September and beyond should be very transformative for all of you. Now, this Three of Pentacles is saying that there is something to the effect to where you are being looked at or appreciated for something that you are doing in the world or have done, okay? So you could see on the card here, there's these two people that are admiring the stonemason's work up here. Has to do with, they are, yes, they're admiring, but also some people say, could they be judging? Yes, that's part of it. And because judgment and criticism is part of the negative side of a Virgo, okay? But I think that for each of you, there's something different where you're being either recognized or maybe even looked at closely or examined for something you're doing. For a lot of you, it's going to be work and career, obviously. But even if you aren't, don't have an actual, career outside the home, it's going to apply to each of you, because it's something that you're doing, something you're being looked at for, some work that you're doing, or something, some activity that you're doing. And what wants to happen here is, it's wanting you to process, maybe looking at it and focusing in on what it is you're doing. Like, this is about, sometimes we get more focused when others point something out. It's like, we could be going throughout our day and someone said, oh, hey, do you see that over there? And you're like, where? What? And then they point it out. So they get you to focus on some aspect in your life or something. Oh, wow, I didn't even know that was there, And we may not have, because for whatever reason, it really was, we weren't focused on it, or we were focused on other things. And so sometimes people can help us to focus on certain areas of our life. And I feel like that's what this has to do with during the second half of September. Now, let's get some more clarity here. We'll look at your timeline card. So you've got the Knight of Pentacles upright. You've got the Three of Swords upright. And you've got the Queen of Swords upright. So what I feel like is going on is, I feel like with this Knight of Pentacles, I feel like this is a stabilizing effect of what's going to happen during this second part of the eclipse season for you North Nodes in Virgo, or the sixth house. I feel like there's a stabilizing effect, because I feel like that could be people or the universe, or there is going to be a focus on something that has to do with something emotionally that you've gone through. So something that you went through that was difficult emotionally, I feel like there's going to be a focus on it. But what you're going to do is, you're going to get a new perspective on this, okay? And it's something that you didn't see before, and that's where you're being appreciated for what you do. But what this is that this has to do with what has happened to you. So emotionally, something happened, and it's being pointed out to you, just in your life in general. So this is highlighting, okay? But what you're being shown that maybe you were working on it in a way that wasn't conducive to healing, or you were working on this situation or thinking about it in a way that maybe wasn't in your best interest. And so what's going to happen is, you're being redirected and say, hey, if you do this, or you think about it or feel about it this way, you're going to see better results. So ultimately, with this Queen of Swords, the situation that you went through emotionally, you're getting a laser-like clarity on it. So this could have been something that has affected you from the past. It could be the recent past. But you're getting this like new perspective and focus on it. Like, I feel like this laser focus, as opposed to before, where you were kind of unsure. And so you were working on it, but you were maybe not, you needed someone to point out something, or even the universe to point out something in a different way to approach it and like think about it. And then the healing happens. And I feel like that's what this is that the ultimate goal of the Queen of Swords is, it's not that she doesn't deal with things emotionally when she's upright. It's just that she's able to rise above them and heal. And then when she heals, she can detach from that situation and like let it go. This is like moving beyond this whatever happened emotionally. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Strength card reversed, and you've got the Lovers card reversed. So again, we see the Three of Swords here. We have reverse or upright. We see the Lovers card reversed. I feel like for a lot of you, these are like old hurts that you're working on that have to do with, personal relationships. Many of you could be romantic relationships, situations you're dealing with, or, but the Lovers is also relationships of all sorts in our life. But the Strength card, again, you can see this image of, the lion and the maiden, and the maiden is giving assistance to the lion. This is like the archetype of the wounded lion, the story of taking the thorn out of the lion's paw, right? And so this is this healing aspect that's happening. But the healing aspect is not happening by itself, but there is another involved. And so I feel like what's happening here is that the universe wants you to heal from this, because one of the things about your Virgo North Node and the 6th house North Node is Virgo in the 6th house rules health and healing. Okay, physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, all sorts of health. And so a big part of your path in this lifetime is the ability to heal wounds from in yourself and also ultimately others. You have that gift. The ability to heal is within each of you that has this North Node. And so first of all, it's about focusing in on what you need to do, and that's being shown here. But I feel like ultimately what this is doing is it's healing this, as opposed to not really looking at it. And I think that overall what it is that you're being shown what needs to take place. So like, look in your life, what messages are you getting from others, from dreams, from just synchronicities that are happening of how to approach whatever emotional wound this is, because you're getting help. And if you allow it, you're being shown, just like that thing in the room where the person pointed out, hey, do you see that? And then you're being pointed to that. So what are you being pointed towards? Because that's going to be the key, because ultimately in this lifetime, one of the keys, as I said, is about your personal transformation through healing. Okay. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. And just want to take the time to say thank you to all those who send tips and gifts to show appreciation for my work. Much love, and it is much appreciated. With that, we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you for the second half of September is the 6 of Wands. And I have to admit, when I saw this card, it was really wild, because I honestly haven't ever really looked at this card in this particular way. And a lot of times when I see a card that pops out, intuitively I get this hit of like, kind of like, I call it like a mini movie, or just like this theme that pops out with the card. And when I saw this, this is obviously the 6 of Wands is a card of victory. Okay, you see that the person is riding the white horse. They have the laurel wreath of victory around their head. The crowd is cheering for them. But what was different about this was, I think that each of you that has this North Node is learning what it means to win, or what it means to have a victory, or to be a winner. Now, this sounds weird, but like, follow me on this. So like, we all have an idea of what it is to win, what it is to lose, right? But if you look at it in different ways, like, everyone has a slightly different idea of what constitutes a victory or winning. And I think that all of you are looking at your life in different ways, like what is a win and what is a loss. So let's take it from the Aries standpoint, which is your south node, which is, Aries or the first house, which is winning could be like me coming out on top, me doing well and being victorious over others. Okay, these are Aries type themes, right? Me getting my way into the world, or me winning in a conflict or in a contest, right? But there are really other ways of like winning in life. Like winning in life could be like when you get past a conflict with somebody or some people and you're able to shake hands or embrace or get past that and create some sort of a harmony. So it's like, you think of like two competitors battling it out, right? And one of them becomes the victor. Okay, one of them is winning and one of them wins and the other one is defeated, right? That's one way. Is just that encapsulates, maybe the person walks away dejected that was defeated and the other person is, I'm the winner, right? But what about the beyond that is, what if you two people can have a conflict and then find some sort of harmony in the middle? See, and that's what I'm seeing for a lot of you is you're looking at what it means to win in your life in new and different ways. And that's a big theme that's coming up this second half of September. So let's even get more detail. Let's look at your timeline card. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed, you've got the Star card upright, and you've got the Emperor card reversed. So we'll take this Emperor card reversed and we'll take the Queen of Pentacles reversed. These are referring to ways that we can think that winning is. So we'll take, what are pentacles? They're everything of value, okay? Physical value, money, finances, raises, stocks, bonds, property, and then also even our time and the friends we have. How many friends do we have? All of those things are what we value, okay? And then the Emperor is talking about, this is one of the cards that's, referring to Aries. You can see that the Emperor sitting on the throne has, on the two throne armrests, has the ram head, and of course over the throne. So there's like 4 ram heads here. And so, this could be like what it means to win, what it means to rule, what it means to get, your way and to be a leader, right? But these are reversed, and they're saying that there is, what you're learning is there's lots of other more important things than what we traditionally think of as winning or success. And for each of you, it's going to be different, but you're going to start to see really that there's this depth of life beyond just the basic black, white, winner, loser. There's things that are beyond that add more kind of depth and character and give us more fulfillment in life. And that's where the Star card comes in. Whenever you see the Star card, it's something like very karmic in nature. And I think that this is something that is teaching each of you to move beyond like level 1. See, there's nothing wrong with, let's say, Aries, first house, Mars energy. There's nothing wrong with it. We need all of the zodiac signs. We need all of that energy. There's a time and there's a place for that energy. But it's depending on, when it's found in our south node, it means that it's time to move beyond that. You're learning to move beyond just that basic energy, that basic, what I call the basic warrior energy. And beyond that, you can still have that, but it's time to enhance that. And so there's something very karmic in this that's happening. And I think for each of you, you're going to learn it in different ways, in different situations. Some of you may be listening to this and you're already kind of realizing it. I feel like a lot of you have already experienced like, yeah, like I've kind of moved beyond just the basic of, me against the world or me against them, and it's kind of like there's a power in, the harmony of combining, and we don't always need to be on top. Sometimes, we can lift others up, and that's a win too. Now your 2 advice cards are kind of bearing this idea out. You've got the 3 of Wands upright, and you've got the 8 of Wands reversed. And the 8 of Wands reversed here is talking about a change of direction. you're going in one way, and what each of you are learning is you're learning to adjust your direction. Now, this is extremely important for all of us, okay? This is an important lesson for all of us. If a person goes through their life, and trust me, a lot of people do, where we never change, hardly at all, where we just like day in and day out, year, 10 years, 20 years, 30, and we're just like, nope, we're doing this, we're doing that, and we're going in one direction. If you see a person's life that doesn't have very many changes in direction, one of two things: either they're perfect and they already have the right direction, or they can't or aren't willing to change direction. And so I think what you're learning is you're learning that it's okay to change direction. If you're going down, a maze and you hit a wall, whatever, that's fine. Backtrack and find another way. It's okay to change direction. And particularly the direction you're changing is how you're viewing your future, of how you want to move forward. So it's a change in thinking, it's a change in direction. And this is huge for you. Like literally with you having the star card in the middle of this reading, this can be a game changer for you. Just the idea of adjusting a direction, like maybe a year or 5 years or 2 years ago, you may have done this, but now you're seeing, oh, you know what? I can go in a new way. I can take a new path. That's huge. This can have wonderful, wonderful, ramifications moving toward your future. So yeah, look at ways to always remember there are many, many ways to win. And sometimes winning doesn't look like winning because you are the one who says, I'm sorry, you're the one that doesn't need to be first or whatever. And so this is some of the things that are kind of transpiring for you. So I'm extremely excited for you because this is something, as I said, that can be a game changer. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. I just want to say thank you to all who take the time to show appreciation by giving a little gift or donation or tip. Much appreciated always, and helps me really keep this channel moving forward. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house. Okay, very interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Death card reversed. Now, as I always explain in all my readings, whenever one of the so-called scary cards comes up, death, the devil, the tower, these do not mean, they're not literal, okay? We're not talking about literal death. And some people say, well, how can that be? Well, the devil card isn't talking about the actual devil or a demon, okay? These are, there are archetypal energies that we're dealing with, right? And so this is something to where the death card is talking about some sort of transformation, okay? Now, this is an amazing reading for you because I'm feeling like a lot of you have been doing a lot of transforming. And transformation is a key word for anybody that has their North Node in Scorpio and or the 8th house, where a lot of you have made these changes. And that's where I see in this death card where you're able to before not really see where you needed to change, but you're changing based on your experiences. And we'll get into the timeline cards that kind of explains it a little bit more. So in your timeline, you've got the 9 of Wands upright, you've got the Wheel of Fortune upright, and you've got the 7 of Cups reversed. So this is what I'm talking about learning from experience. This 9 of Wands is about all of your energetic experiences that you've had and how you've dealt with them and how you've learned from them. That's what this card is about. It's about learning from our experiences on an energetic level. And that's one of the things that you've done is a lot of you have started to look at your life and how things have transpired, and you're able to say, maybe I need to make an adjustment here or there. And even if it's really small, like a very small, minute adjustment where you just maybe do something differently or say something differently than you normally would, is a huge win. This is about, this is about transformation. Essentially, when anyone is born with a North Node in Scorpio or the 8th house, this is a lifetime of transforming from going to when, you were born and a child, in your teen years, in your 20s, moving through. It's a life of transforming. And what you're doing is you're transforming, you're becoming like the, phoenix rising from the ashes time and time again, and becoming a better version of yourself. And part of this is learning through experience, which a lot of you are doing. Now, the reason this is bared out is that we've got the Wheel of Fortune here upright. And literally every time that you are learning from your experiences, you are, and you're making changes, you're literally changing your fortune, changing your future for the better. And I think a lot of you are learning that, like, you make this adjustment and you start to see kind of the positive results. And so it becomes this like regular thing that you're doing on a regular basis, where, you see changes, that you need to make, and you make them. And as I said, it's literally changing your future. Now, one of the things that there's something in this reading that is a big heads up for you is this Seven of Cups reversed. Where it's leading you is a lot of you are unsure emotionally, like the direction to go in. It's like you see positive things that have happened for you. You've made these positive changes, but you're unsure, like, where to put your energy and your emotions. Like, do I do it here? Do I do it there? And so there could be this kind of like emotional kind of confusion. And so this reading is going to clear this up. So if you're feeling like that, that's very, very normal, especially when we are doing a lot of transformation. It's like, imagine a person that over a period of, let's say, 20 to 25 years, goes drastically from one kind of a person to another. At the end, or even in the middle of that transformation stage, it can be disorienting. And that's kind of the feeling that because you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm this new person, but then it's like it's like you're starting all over again. You're hitting the reset button. And so it can cause some confusion, right? But the way to get through that is shown here in your advice card. So you've got the Hermit card reversed, and you've got the Five of Pentacles upright. Now, the Five of Pentacles, this is referring to something that is in your South Node in Taurus, and or the second house, that's kind of lingering on. And what that is that all of you have this gift of natural independence. Like, you don't like to ask for favors. Most of you don't like to ask for favors. You don't like to have to rely on anybody. You are used to, with this Taurus energy, relying on yourself. You don't like to have to rely on other people. And the reason that this is showing this is because you could see these people are really in desperate need, and they're out in the snow, they're injured, they're cold, and they're walking by this warm, glowing window. It could be a church, it could be some sort of an outreach program, but it's warm and glowing in there, and they don't want to even go by that, or they don't want to go in and ask for help. And so one of the things that's big as part of this transformation that can help you unblock the confusion you might be feeling emotionally is to begin to feel comfortable with allowing the universe, allowing people around you that care about you, that love you, even people that are just not, you don't know that well, someone at work or whatever, allowing people to help you and accepting that help. That's one of the last things that can really make this whole transformation process, is allowing yourself to receive help, okay? And the reason that the Hermit is, reversed is because we can't fully learn the wisdom of our life path unless it's complete in some way. And for you, the theme that keeps coming up is allowing yourself to connect with others on an energetic level, but in order to do that, it's like it's becoming vulnerable and saying like actually needing somebody, needing something or someone, or in some situations, it's that deep connection. And it could feel, I know it feels really uncomfortable for people that have, their South Node in Taurus to like really like need to rely on someone. But this is kind of like the missing kind of factor. And so I think if you think back, when help or assistance or advice or things are offered to you in some way, don't be so quick to say no. Accept that, because this is the last thing that could be kind of clearing up your path. But other than that, I see like a lot of like movement forward, and you've done a great job in a lot of transformation. But this last little bit here, which is allowing yourself to have other people help you and assist you in any way, mentally, emotionally, physically, in some way, spiritually, whatever it is, that last little bit is what's going to kind of put you over the top. But anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. I just wanted to take the time to say thank you to all those that, give a gift of love and support to the channel through a tip. It is much appreciated, and it really warms my heart. So I just want to say thank you. With that, we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the 8 of Pentacles. And yes, this is a card of work and career, but it also applies even if you're not like currently working a traditional job. It's what you're working on. It could even be like a hobby or side project, or it could be if whatever work or you're doing in the world. Even if you're like a stay-at-home parent, let's say it's your responsibility to take care of the household, okay, it could apply to that. So that's what you do. That's what your quote-unquote job or career is. So it encompasses all of that. And I feel like the second half of September, it has to do with what you're doing on a daily basis. Now, I feel like there's going to be some sort of like change or new direction or new beginning in what it is you're doing. Even if it's your career you're keeping, it could be like you're changing direction, or maybe you found like a new pathway to go on. I feel like these timeline cards are bringing out, it's almost like you took something as far as you can take it in that capacity, and it's time to either like completely change direction or kind of tweak your direction and go off in a new angle or new direction. Let's look at your timeline cards. So you've got the Fool card upright, you've got the Hermit card reversed, and you've got the Three of Swords upright. So we'll take the Fool card and the Hermit card reversed. These cards are linked because you might look at them and say like, okay, the Fool would be like the beginning of a journey, okay, in life. And then the Hermit might be the end result, okay? Hopefully we learn along the way and we mature and we, obtain skills and we become the wise man, the Hermit, okay? So this is referring to, but it's reversed here. And what I'm feeling like is I'm feeling like that there's some aspect of your life where you were going down a certain road and it didn't pay off like you thought it would. So that could be like, as an example, okay, but it could be different from everybody. But as an example, it would be like, let's say someone, gets a degree in something and starts working in it. Like I had a friend that did this, and they got a degree and they started working in the field and they realized they didn't like it and it wasn't fulfilling, and they completely backtracked and changed direction. Okay, that's really common. A lot of people do that. But this is talking about some aspect of your life that you went down a certain road and then you realized that, okay, this isn't working. And so you had to backtrack. So you started out and, as a brand new beginning. And then you found out with the reversed, hermit that, okay, yeah, this isn't taking me where I want to go. But the Fool card is also saying new beginnings, where you feel like there's going to be something that's going to come to you where some of you may already be experiencing this, where you've found a new direction to go in, and some of you are still finding that out. Now, when this happens, with this three of swords, this is like an emotional wounding. It can be very, traumatizing for someone. Like, let's say someone invests, time in something, in a, relationship, and then they find out that it's not what they thought it was. And it's like, that could be traumatizing. Or someone starts a career or a job, and then all of a sudden they find out, and it can be like very painful. But you're not supposed to take it that way. This is something to where this is part of your path, where you are meant to find your true path. And if you find that direction you're not going is taking you where you feel you need to be, changing direction is the best thing. Don't take it like so badly. Don't take it so seriously, because it's like, this is telling you that it's okay to many times change direction in life. The worst thing we can do is we could just stay on a path that is not fulfilling to us, okay? Just because I don't want to change, and that would say that I'm wrong about something, okay? So the change part is really, really important for you, the ability to make these adjustments. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the King of Wands and you've got the Two of Cups. The King of Wands is saying that this ability to start over again is really like a superpower. The ability to recognize, first of all, think about what it takes to recognize that you're going down the wrong path, and then to stop yourself. And and you don't say to yourself, oh my gosh, I invested so many months or years or whatever doing this, blah, 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 and now I have to change. But there's a power in the ability to say, it's okay. I can change direction. I have the flexibility to find my true path. Think of it kind of like an adventure where, when you discover, okay, look, this isn't working out, it's okay to kind of backtrack, and that can become your power. It would be less powerful for someone to stay into something that they know that isn't right, And then this Two of Cups is saying that when you do this, I feel like there's going to be something to the effect where it's going to bring you closer to your true self, but also it's going to affect your relationship with other people in a new way. It's almost like the transformation it's bringing you more emotional fulfillment, but especially in your relationships. And for some reason, I think that's like one of the big kind of test points for you, is to see, like, how is your life and your path, how is it affecting the relationships around you? And I feel like when you are able to change direction, it's going to have this effect that is going to be a very positive effect on your personal relationships around you of all sorts, family, friends, love relationships, even work relationships, because you have the power and the flexibility to say, yeah, I can change direction. I don't need to keep walking down the same path that I know in my heart isn't right. I can go in a new way. That is very, very powerful. And it's something to where, for whatever reason, for each of you, it's going to be different, but I feel like it's going to have these positive effects on your personal relationships. And it's like, it's like this feedback loop where you're going to start to see the results and say, wow, I should have done that like a long time ago. So yeah, very, very powerful second half of September for you. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you who give a gift or a tip to show appreciation for my channel. It is much appreciated. So thank you so much. With that, we'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Two of Swords upright. Now, traditionally this card can be talking about somebody blocking their intuition, their emotions, their thinking patterns in a way that is kind of detrimental to them. But the other way to look at this card too is that you can see that this person has the swords of intellect and thought crossed over her chest, covering her emotions. She has a blindfold on. She's not seeing things, or she's cutting herself off from her vision of what's going on out in the world. And then you have the body of water, a lake or the ocean behind, which is talking about her psychic abilities, her intuition, her subconscious, okay, all of that. What this is saying for you is that anyone that has their North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house has their South Node in Cancer or the 4th house. You are naturally emotional, most of you. You're naturally intuitive. Some of you have psychic abilities too, okay? You have that. You're sensitive. You're sensitive people. That is a gift. But in this lifetime, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to control that gift, because just like any gift in the zodiac, there is a positive aspect and there's a negative aspect. The negative aspect of being, overly sensitive is that we can't control what's going on, like our feelings. Someone says something or does something and we get extremely hurt. What this card is saying in the second half of September is this is ongoing, where you're learning to block out or protect your heart, your emotions, your psychic abilities, your energy. You're blocking it out, having the ability to block it out, but not permanently. So you could say, like, another way to say it would be like going through life toughening up, which is Capricorn, and the 10th house, growing a thick skin. But you see, there's a balance here, because one of the dangers of going overboard in the Capricorn energy is growing too thick of a skin, or putting a wall up where we're completely cut off from others and from love and from emotions and from our own abilities and our own emotions and our own psychic and intuitive abilities. So there's a danger in that. So there has to be this balance. And what I feel like a lot of you are learning is you're learning that, like, the first time someone says something to you and it maybe has that twinge that gives you a feeling of some way negative, like it hurts you in some way. When you have the ability to, like, get through it, let it go through you, and grow the thick skin and get and toughen up in some way, that is the win. That's what you're learning to do. And this is the balance that's happening. So I feel like the second half of September, I think that there's going to be some scenarios that play out that are giving you the opportunity to kind of learn this. Now, let's look at your timeline. We'll get some more clarity. You've got the Star card reversed. You've got the Three of Pentacles reversed. And you've got the Sun card upright, actually. So the Star card, whenever you see it in the reading, is there's something very karmic in nature, and it is also positive when it's reversed. But what I'm thinking for a lot of you is a lot of your karmic life path has been delayed, I would say, because of learning this skill of when to let things roll off of you, when to put that armor on and let things go through you, okay? And also, some of you, sometimes people, even with this North Node, go overboard where they actually are tired of getting hurt emotionally and mentally, and then they just completely block all that out. Okay, so that's the other danger. But I feel like a lot of you are learning the skill. This is something to where when you learn to do this, it can be a game changer karmically for you for your future. And it's going to be huge, right? Now, how this can play out is, I feel like, this Three of Pentacles, for many of you, there could be a situation that happens through your work or career that maybe there could be some criticism or something said, or you have, a battle with, somebody at work. But this card applies to everyone who's listening to this reading, because even if it's not your work or career, it could be something you're being criticized for, something you've done. Like, let's say you do something around the house, and then it's criticized in some way, or someone criticized something that you have done or said. Okay, so it applies to everybody, but it's basically people looking at something you've done and, not speaking kindly of it. Okay, and this can be kind of, very hurtful. What you're being taught to do is you're being taught to address the situation, get through it, feel it, see why it's happening. Like, are they envious? Are they jealous? Are they just in a bad mood? But in order, you need to learn some way to block it out and get through it. And the way you know you get through it is not when you just ignore it. If it has an emotional charge within you, you haven't got through it. So you have to let it go in some way. You have to rise above it. And that's a huge skill for you in this lifetime. Now, the Sun card is a beautiful card to get. You've got the star reversed, but you got the Sun upright. And literally, this is something to where a lot of you, when you learn to do this, when you learn to have this kind of tough armor that you can put on without losing your beautiful emotional insides, and have that balance, it literally is something that can give you, it's like this feeling of being a new person, being reborn into being a new person. It's like literally changing your future, changing your karma in a really positive way. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Tower card, and you've got the Hierophant upright. Okay, the Tower card is it's relating to this. When this happens, it's going to feel like a little bit of a shock to the system. Like, for example, you're doing something and then someone does or says something super rude, and it's like, boom, it's like this shock to the system. And then it's like you process it, and then you get angry and you get hurt and you get all these things. Okay, it's okay to feel that. You don't want to block those feelings, but you have to let them, you have to get through them. So we're not talking about blocking emotions. We're talking about the ability to really control them, which is blocking them from just lingering, is what I'm trying to say. So when this happens, when that initial hit comes, you have to process it, and then you have to get through it some way by saying okay, why did this happen? Okay, they're just a jerk, or they're envious or jealous, or whatever it is. And you handle it in a more kind of tough and stern way. And this Hierophant is saying that this is about tradition. This can be your new way of handling things. But stoically is the way you want to handle this. You want to be able to get through a conflict and come out the other side with you not, having these lingering feelings. That's the key. And I think that this is part of it is this new, the Hierophant's also about philosophy and belief systems. This kind of has to become your new belief system, where you have to be able to get through conflicts, and the ability to put on your armor when you need to, and also not put up the permanent armor and the wall around you, okay? This is one of the main skills you're learning in this lifetime. And I'm not saying it's easy. It is definitely not. But a key there is, remember, feel your feelings, let them go into you and pass through you. And then somehow you have to find a way to put on that armor and just say, you know what? I'm going to rise above this. I am not going to let this affect me. I'm not going to let it ruin my day, ruin my week, my month, or whatever. And so for each of you, you're going to have to find a way to do that. So in dealing, sometimes you can look up, Google how to deal with difficult people. There's lots of strategies, but this is also a card of like strategy. Find what is going to be your strategy, your tradition in kind of dealing with this, because this is going to keep kind of coming up, right? And this is something that you're learning to do. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. And also wanted to take the time to thank everybody that gives a gift of a tip, and I really appreciate it, and it really helps the channel keep going. So thank you so much. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Two of Wands reversed. And this card is referring to, like the world that we're trying to create. Each of us, he has the world, the globe in his hand. He's looking out toward the future. He's, wearing fine clothes in, a, castle or battlement of some sort. It's being sure of what it is you want, need, and desire, and your place in the world. But it's reversed here. And I feel like there's something that is happening the second half of September that is changing your worldview in some way, but in particular, kind of like what you thought was the direction that you needed or wanted to go in some area of your life. Now, for some of you, it could be multiple areas. So it could be, some of you work or career, it could be relationship, it could be family, it could be just, health for different directions. Okay. That each of you are going to take, but you're changing what it is you thought your world was going to be, and you're making changes for the good. Now, in the short term, it could be a little bit like challenging. So you've got, for your timeline cards, you've got the Five of Wands upright, you've got the Page of Swords upright, and you've got the Judgment card reversed. Now, the Five of Wands, all of the five cards are cards of challenges. And so I think that there's going to be, like, the second half of September here, some sort of like conflict that's going on that you're involved in some way. It could be just with another person, or it could be with multiple people. For each of you, it's going to be different. But I feel like you're dealing with it, and what it's doing is it's making you see things and observe something that you haven't seen before. So that's what this Page of Swords sometimes means, being vigilant. Like all of a sudden seeing something like, whoa, I didn't see that coming, or I didn't know that person was like that, type of a thing. And it's seeing something. Sometimes it takes a situation or a conflict for someone to like look and pay attention. So the conflict is showing you something, and it's the world that you thought, like, I have this piece here, that relationship there, the world is like, you're now seeing it in a new way. And that's why this is reversed, is because you're reorganizing how you thought your world should be. Now, the Judgment card reversed is saying that when you recognize this situation and you all of a sudden say, okay, wow, I didn't see that before, you're going to start to backtrack and think about how, you had clues to that. There were clues leading up to this. And that's what this Judgment card is. It's like the universe was trying to show you things for a while, but you didn't kind of recognize it. But now you're going to recognize, oh yeah, when that happened, that was trying to show me this. And, or when this person said that, this was trying to show me this. So it's all positive, because what this is this, you're seeing your life in a more real way. You're seeing the reality of your situations and your relationships in new way. You're seeing the truth in them, okay? And that is always positive. The end result's going to be super, super positive. So your advice cards are, you've got the Two of Cups upright, and you've got the Eight of Swords reversed. So the Eight of Swords is saying that what this is doing, the aftermath of this, even if it's a little bit difficult at first, it's freeing you up in some way. It's releasing you from something that you didn't know that you were stuck in. So the best way I can describe it, here's like an example, okay? Think of a person, like, let's say that a person was like in a bad relationship, and all their friends knew it, and whatever, and they, for whatever reason, stayed in it, right? But then they get to the point where something happens, there's a breaking point, and they finally get out of that relationship. And then they say, wow, I can't believe I stayed stuck in that for so long. And then they, finally like kind of break from that. That's kind of what this is saying, is that when this happens, the positive effect is you're going to say like, wow, okay, I didn't know kind of how stuck I was. And so you're going to start to see, okay, I understand now that I needed to do this a long time ago. And then that's when you're going to start to see that the universe was giving you these clues for like a while. Okay. So it's freeing you. And then the Two of Cups is saying that what this is going to do is that when this happens, this is freeing you up more. This is freeing you to strengthen the relationships that you have, your love relationships, your family, your close friends, even your work relationships. It's strengthening it, because it's like, this is showing you a part of your life that you needed to pay attention to. And for a lot of you, it's going to be in like literally walking away from some aspect of your life. As I said, for each of you, it's going to be slightly different. But the end result is going to be really, really positive. And you're going to say to yourself, wow, I should have done this a while ago. And I recognize that the world and the universe was trying to show me this for a while, but I didn't see it. So this is all going to have a very, very positive effect. So pay attention to what's going on. When you see something, recognize it for what it is in a situation. The conflict is going to bring it up, and you're going to see a person or a situation or people in a new way, and it's going to have this end positive result. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. Just wanted to say thank you to all of you who take the time to show the channel some love through a tip. It's always appreciated, and so much love to you. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. Okay, interesting. So the theme card that popped out for you is the Emperor card reversed. Now, one of the things that this card refers to is it refers to those that are in power, those that are in authority, or authority figures. Now, authority figures, what are they, and who are they in our lives? Well, obviously you have authority figures like, you have parents, you have, when we're children, right? You have teachers, you have professors, you have law enforcement officers, you have the government. Okay, there's authority figures in our life that way. But there is also authority figures in our life of, bosses, supervisors. There's also people that we are very, very close to in personal relationships can be authority figures. Now, why do I say that? I always explain it this way. Anybody in our life that's extremely important and we care what they think, we care what they about them, and they should care about us, they become authority figures. They're not just like people, random people on the street who, we might care about them in a human way, but I mean, they're not authority figures in our life. Now, that doesn't mean these people in our life that are authority figures, it doesn't mean that they're over us. It means that we place them in positions of importance, okay? So all of these, this is what this is referring to. But the last thing, and I think for a lot of you, what this is referring to is we also have an inner authority, like our personal authority within ourselves. And that seems weird. You think, well, that's just me. But when you think about it really deeply, there are people that don't honor their inner authority, like they'll let, other authority figures or, authorities in their life override their personal authority. So what I feel like one of the lessons that, you North Nodes in Pisces or the 12th house are learning is you're learning to listen to your inner authority. And I feel like a lot of you are going to start to think like, wow, like I listened to that person, or I put my energy into this other authority. Now, this could be anything from, a authority figure or a belief system or whatever it is. But what you're learning is you have within you a very, very valuable internal GPS or inner authority. And this is one of the things that you're going to start to really tap into, and that you want to really focus on this second half of September. Now let's look at your timeline cards to kind of get some more clarity. So you've got the Seven of Swords upright. You've got the Four of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Hierophant upright. Now, the Seven of Swords is saying that, part of this realization is you're realizing that, not only were you giving up some of your inner authority to other people, in different times throughout your life, but it's almost like it was taken from you. It's almost like it could be that, you just thought you were doing the right thing, and you're listening to this. It could be, family, someone in your life close to you, and you were listening to them, and that, it almost seems like your personal, like something was taken from you. And it's really not, it really wasn't taken. It was like, it was kind of given up. And what happened here is that the end result was, with this Four of Pentacles reversed, is it made you, after you realized it, it made you feeling vulnerable. You felt open, okay? Like, because, you followed some other authority and not your own inner authority. And your inner authority knows what is right. Like, you have the Pisces North Node. You have the 12th house North Node. You have natural intuition, psychic abilities. But you have to listen to them. That is your authority. And that's the difficult thing, is because a lot of you, the South Node in Virgo, could say, oh, what do you mean? Like, you have an intuition about something, and that, how can you prove it? And so then you have the battle between the logical mind and the spiritual, okay, which is the Pisces Virgo, and so that's one of the things that you're kind of battling against. But this is about learning to trust your inner authority. Now, the end result that's going to happen is you have this Hierophant. And really what this is, the Hierophant is also about inner wisdom. It's about wisdom. It's about learning, like, what it is. It is spiritual, but it's like learning what's important to you spiritually, like where it is you want to go. You become, the spiritual leader of your life. You become the inner authority and the outer authority of your life. And you've learned, like, okay, I've listened to a lot of things throughout my life, and no more. Like, what's right, okay? And you're going to realize that you know what's right. And that's what this is saying. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Ace of Cups reversed, and you've got the Five of Pentacles upright. Now, the Five of Pentacles, what this is saying is that throughout this process, remember that one of the main things you want to do is you are supposed to have a personal relationship with the universe, with the energy and magic of the universe, however you want to call it. Chi, the all-knowing, you're supposed to have this, begin to have this relationship throughout your whole life. And this is about seeking help through, meditation, mantra, prayer, whatever it is, lighting a candle, doing any sort of, spiritual workings. This is your connection in any way to the universe is very important. You are partnering up with the universe. The reason why the Five of Pentacles is coming up in this reading is you could see these people are out in the cold. They feel shut out. And there is this sort of glowing, it could be a church window, it could be some sort of a help, whatever it is, there's help inside, and that you need your connection and your success in life, your connection to the ultimate authority, which is the universe, which is the all, which is the truth of the universe, which encompasses everything. That, in connection with your inner personal authority, is what is going to give you the power to create your best life. Now, why is the Ace of Cups reversed? Because this is about, the Ace of Cups is referring to, and it's making a kind of connection to the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is our heart, our true heart. It is our connection to our truest self, and you have to trust it. And until you can trust what's in you, by making that connection and having a relationship with some sort of thing outside you, which is the universe. For some of you, it could be you're into, Taoism, you're into Buddhism, you're into, paganism, whatever it is, right? But your connection to something more than you, to, your spirituality, along with your inner authority, is what is you're really learning. And I think that this is something that is opening up, even in small ways. Just lighting a candle, saying a quick, prayer, or some sort of a mantra of something, living a magical life, and trusting that inner authority. And when you do that, you're going to see that really life starts to open up. But this second half of September is reviewing, times when you maybe gave up your authority to others, and that's okay. It's part of this learning process. But definitely don't give up your inner authority to that South Node in Virgo, or the sixth house, which is logic, and everything needs to make sense, because it doesn't. The world is very mysterious, and it's okay to be okay with the unknown, to be comfortable with the unknown. That's part of your path. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links down below. Just want to say thank you for all of you who give a gift and donation to the channel. It's much appreciated, and really helps show appreciation for my work. So thank you so much. With that, I'll say thank you. Much love. Many blessings.